That slaps.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Still Slaps Music Reviews. I'm hhubey, songwriter and rapper here for Still Slaps today. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. Today, man, we are going to be talking about the highly anticipated one and only J. Cole, who just dropped his latest album, The Off Season. It's been quite a heyday on the internet. If you've been on the internet, if you've been on Twitter, if you've been on Instagram, if you've been anywhere, you've heard about this drop, and rightly so. J. Cole is definitely a very cherished, very admired rapper who's been definitely GOAT tier at this point in time, especially with coming off of this latest release. I want to say something just before getting into the review. It's definitely still a privilege to be able to still have a rapper like J. Cole, being in his 30s, still be able to be around, still be able to speak his truth and speak his language, and come out and do a great album. You guys probably won't be able to hear it, but I do have someone directly next to me. I'm in a parking lot who's got the album just banging. You might be able to hear it through the background music. And rightly so. This is a great album. This was a great release. I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into it. Bear with me, guys, because I'm going to be looking through the track list. I'm going to be looking through some of the lyrics to kind of get more of a reference. I have heard the album about 4 times in total now. I wanted to definitely give some time just to give a thorough review. So we're going to get right into it. Album slappers. Album slappers I have here for the track list. We have 95 South, we have My Life, we have Applying Pressure, we've got Punching the Clock, we've got Let Go My Hand, we've got Close, we've got Hunger on Hillside, we've got The Climb Back, and finally we have Interlude. So right off the bat, that's a bulk of the album. That's a bulk of this album that really does get a W. This album, I want to start off by saying, this was Cole really rapping. Cole was rapping. Cole sounded like a mix between a glorified Friday Night Lights type of Cole mixed with a little bit of sideline story, a very tad bit of sideline story. And then mix that with a little bit of KOD, and some of Forest Hill Drives. I think that going into this project, Cole, when he was really crafting it, when he was going in, when he was putting it together, he had really considered what a lot of people were saying off of his last release, which is KOD, which in my opinion is probably up there with not Forest Hill Drive. But KOD, as far as reception wise, was up there with the I want to say For Your Eyes Only reception wise. KOD and Forest Hills, I keep on mixing them up. For Your Eyes Only, those are 2 albums in Cole's discography that probably are gonna be in the same realm as far as the way they were received. I don't think they were received the way Cole had thought they would be received. I think where this album really flourishes for Cole is this album sonically is Cole being I want to say it very much more experimental. Obviously we've got features, wink wink. This is something that Cole went in and he was tired of the whole feature debate that was going around. He had even commented on it personally. He had commented on it, how annoying it was to be constantly being bombarded with that, and people felt like it was an excuse. I still think that it's one of the greatest things to be able to have, to be able to say about your catalog, but that's just my opinion. I feel like this album, when it comes down to the features, obviously we've got, we'll talk about the features when it comes down to 21 Savage on My Life. I think that My Life is a glorified sequel to A Lot. A Lot was a big record for 21, and 21 was big before the Cole feature, but somebody else mentioned in their review, I can't remember who it was, somebody else mentioned in their review that that 21 Savage, when him and Cole got together, that was kind of like it kind of did something a little bit more grand for 21 on the conscious tip. It was one of those more simplistic conscious rap records from 21's 21's language, because obviously Cole got on there and did what he did, and we know that that was just kind of the Mount Rushmore year for Cole as far as feature runs, and that was a huge testament to why it was. That was such a great record, and it will definitely go down as a classic in 21's discography. It had that soulful sample that if you weren't really tuned in and did your research, you could probably be tricked into thinking that, yo, that's the exact sample from a lot. I don't know if it was to really verify that, but I'm just saying passively, if you were listening to it passively, which I was doing, I didn't deep dive into where the sample came from, but you would think, you know, if you put those two records together, that it came from the exact same sample. But great record. 21 Savage's verse on there was crazy. He definitely held his weight with Cole. It was definitely a testament to really just seeing the relationship, the chemistry between Cole and 21 was just a million miles into, you know, the greatness that these two are able to do. The chemistry was just out of the charts, so to speak. They definitely did what they needed to do. I think, and also other areas of this album, you've got Six Black that shows up. We know what Six Black and Cole have done together in the past. You know, Six Black's talents as a rapper is definitely slept on, in my opinion. Six Black, definitely, that was a great album that song was on. But we know that Six Black can really get into that melodic, conscious bag, R&B bag like Cole. And I think it was good to see some of these features come together again. And then you've obviously got Boss from the Dreamville camp. One thing that I want to say, Boss obviously did his things vocally, and however much more he contributed. I will say it was a little weird just to see Boss from the Dreamville side come on here and do what he did. I don't know if I know we got the documentary before the album dropped. And we saw 21, and we saw the other camp from Dreamville and Cole's squad, but it was vocally, it was a little disappointing to not hear some other features from the Dreamville side. I felt like this was definitely a pinpoint in Cole's career. Maybe he's got it planned for the next album, which is obviously going to be the Fall Off. Who knows what that's going to sound like, but maybe he's just strategically doing this. Maybe Cole's just strategically trying to build up anticipation. This was a great way to do it. I think, like I said, this was an album where you saw Cole. Like I said, it's a mix between a good bulk of Cole's career thus far, and I love how he did that from the cover of if you go back and look at the different covers, I mean, excluding maybe Forest Hills Drive and For Your Eyes Only, because we know those are kind of really the shift and change in Cole's mentality as a rapper, and his mentality as a celebrity, and even his mentality with the bars. So I will say that aside from those, I love the creativity in Cole's discography from Friday Night Lights onward, where you have the basketball theme, obviously, and then tying into the drop of this record. Now you've got Cole being verified being able to go on and follow his other passion as a professional basketball player in Africa, which, you know, congrats to him for that. But it just really goes to show you Cole has really proven that he's evolved on a lot of sides of the coin as a MC, and as an artist, as a producer. A lot of this thing production wise off season was very, very it was a breath of fresh air from the production tip with heavy hitters like Timbaland, one of my favorite producers of all time, by the way. We've got also T-Minus showing up again. We've got who else? We've got Boy Wonder, who bodied that last track, which is one of my favorites production wise. That thing, man, just the strings and the sample there, and how he was able to how they were able to mesh those vocals together with those harmonies, man. Butter, nothing but butter. And Boy Wonder is another one who deserves his flowers. From the production tip, for being so consistent and linking up with iconic just players in the game like Cole. It was a breath of fresh air. It was beautiful, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. We like I said, we have production from Timbaland as well, and the other assistant producer on Amirai, which didn't make my slappers list, but the production on there was definitely still nice. I want to say that the downside of the production tip of this album was very low. I did think it was a little strange, but also I thought it was a little cool. 95 South, definitely that beat choice on that was very, very interesting from Cole. For him to go back in his bag and get a beat like that, obviously that's nowhere near the range of where we are in the way pop and hip hop. The sound, when you're talking about the sound, it's very dated, but it also just goes to show Cole paying his homage. Obviously, he went and got Cameron from Dipset on there. We know what the sound of that New York just bounce that was present back in the early 2000s and late 90s. We know what that did, that influence that it had on rappers like Cole, obviously, to come around and do the roundabout, put it on his album with Cameron. I will say it was a little weird that Cameron didn't have a verse. I thought if anything, Cameron didn't need to narrate on Cole's project. That was really, really weird. It's almost like he was just he was put on a lower step on the ladder into just being Cole's hype man, and by no means should Cameron be considered to be a hype man for someone like Cole. I thought that was really, really weird. Maybe it was just a phone in and Cole, just however you want to slice it. It was weird. I would have rather had Cameron do a feature verse. It would have been much more credible, in my opinion. And I did think that Lil Jon sample was a little too much. It was a little too on the edgier side, and I don't think it really needed that. The beat already had that heavy New York bounce like I talked about, and it already had that heavy, boot stomping, Timbaland stomping, curb stomp sound on the production. That Lil Jon sample was just a little too crunk. If you get my drift, it was just a little too edgy for it. It kind of pushed the beat over the top. It kind of like made it sound like Cole was just trying to kind of just take it over the top. Definitely wasn't needed, in my opinion, but Cole's bars on this thing are crazy. Obviously, you guys, there's no need for me to go in depth. You've heard people quoting the Luigi brother line on Twitter. You've heard them quoting the Slim Shady crazy dope double, and man, he definitely got in his bag, boy. Cole was sounding like a hungrier hybrid Super Saiyan form of Friday Night Lights, and like I said, Forest Hills Drive. He was sounding like he was ready to eat at some rappers, and I think a lot of people wanted that energy from him, and it's cool that he brought that. I will also say it was cool to see Lil Baby on his feature. I think that it was very, very credible for Lil Baby to get that feature. He definitely deserves it. He's been pulling his weight for quite some time now, and it was cool to be able to for him to be able to say, yeah, I'm on a track with Cole, who's gonna obviously go down as one of the top tier rappers to come up in the late 2000s. It's not even a debate at this point. It was cool for Lil Baby to get that stamp, and then obviously Lil Baby getting that stamp as well, again, from Drake. Obviously, we know what Lil Baby has been doing on that end. I will say, production-wise, that choice to put Lil Baby on that beat, Pride is the Devil. Pride is the Devil. It didn't make my album slappers list. I just thought that placement choice was a little odd. Even, listening to it repetitively like I have by now, it sounded like it just didn't sound, it sounded like a phone in. It sounded like more of a demo that should have stayed in the, in the drafts. I feel like where it could have gone better, it could have gone better if Cole just had a verse. I would have loved to see, we're kind of going to get into the downfall now of this project, which is not strong. This was a great project, but I feel like Cole, we could have seen a little bit more on the feature tip. It was cool that he went and got 21. It was cool that he went and got 6 Black again. But these are all people that we were familiar with, minus Lil Baby. It was cool that he went outside of the box and got Lil Baby. And even Murray vocally was the vocalist that he went and got Murray for My Life. Phenomenal vocal performance. But I do feel like the downfall in this album is Cole still feels the need to sing a bulk of his records. And, if that's just something that he enjoys doing, it's great. But I feel like his singing hasn't gotten to the point where he's on that level yet to, carry a good amount of the weight with his vocals without them sounding too processed. And like I said, we're in an era where that doesn't really matter anymore. Someone like me can hop on a track and throw processed vocals on, and you can do it as much as you want to do it and still have that sonic please to the ear. But I guess what I'm trying to say is we don't need Cole singing, trying to prove that he can sing these records when we know he can write these great songs. We know his melody game is out there. Cole is a glorified Kid Cudi when it comes down to hip hop melodies in general. Cole can sit with some great R&B acts, and I'll even push it to say he can write for some great R&B acts if he wanted to, and get on his dream pen bag if he wanted to, which I really wanted to see a little bit more vocally. I wanted to see Cole get with more singers. I feel like that's definitely could have filled the gap in a song like Pride is the Devil if Cole would have just kind of put his kind of pride aside, no pun intended, in reaching out to some other vocalists. Now, like I said, if Cole feels like he can hold his weight with his singing, and he wants to go through and just, plow drive when it comes down to vocals, be my guest, go ahead. But I do feel like, as a consumer who's been listening to Cole for years now, I feel like it's a weak point at this point. Because we've seen this over and over again from Cole in his discography. We've seen him be constantly do the process melody lines and the hit or miss vocal takes and the hit or miss kind of floating on the melodies. But all in all, it's just something that I feel like if we don't see on the fall off, I feel like it could be one of those down points in Cole's career. It's an easy fix. He could write. We know he can write. We know his potential, is by no means of a stretch of imagination impossible to achieve to get with another well solidified R&B act. And props if he tried to do that and it just didn't work out. Maybe he tried that, or maybe he's saving more of the bulk of that for the fall off. Who knows? But just speaking off of what we got, I feel like that was mainly one of the only downfalls of this project. So yeah, that's pretty much my review. I'm trying to think lyrically. We all know what happened. I'm not gonna even waste my time, because you guys know by now. Like I said, this was I can't describe it any more than this was Cole mixing in literally half of his career, more than half, on one project in 12 tracks. And that's very, very impressive, because we know what a lot of these bigger hip hop acts are doing with these deluxes. We see what just happened with the Khaled album. It's a little sad what's going on with a lot of these big hip hop acts are doing. And for Cole to be able to reach into a bulk of his career, more than half, like I said, and give us this split this split mix of grown man bars, parent bars, conscious bars. You've got come up bars. You've got all of this mixed in a pot of just dope hip hop gumbo. And, you know, dropping it on his fan base is very, very, very credible. And it definitely deserves its props. Like I said, there's very little downfall in this album. I just hope that we do see a little bit of improvement from more vocalists, more of Cole reaching out to other singers and letting them sing his melodies, letting him sing it. I know they're his, but you do have to, I feel like, know the importance of when to really just use more of that collaboration and let your project come out more when you're talking about some of your vocal runs and what that's able to do sonically for your project. And I think Cole does know that. Maybe it's just, like I said, we need to wait and see that in the future projects. So guys, how you feeling about this album? Leave below if you think the album was mid, if you think it was a mix of some of his best work. How do you feel about the bars? How you feeling about the grown man bars? How you feeling about his decision to really, you know, speak on controversial things, as far as the P. Diddy line that we all heard? Obviously Cole verifying that yes, that situation did happen, and I want to verify that, you know, things are, you know, gonna be okay when it comes down to passing that type of believing in yourself and toughening up in yourself to my son type message that Cole was able to come through and give. Yeah, let me know how you're feeling. Leave a like, guys. Consider donating to the channel. Thank you guys for sticking with me. If you've been with me for some time, more reviews on the way. Thank you guys once again. Once again, I'm Hubey for Still Slaps. Hit the follow on Instagram, and hit the subscribe and notifications on for more great reviews and great content, guys. Thank you guys once again. Stay safe, and hope everybody is doing well. Love to your families, and much health to you guys. Peace.